I want to introduce you today. This is Ross Loofbourrow, and he's here today. He's going to share his story with you. He has ADHD himself, and he's just going to share his story and some of the things that have helped him and gotten him to where he is today. So I am going to turn it over to him, and he's probably going to lay down a few ground rules to start.
Yeah, it was every man for himself last time. So we're going to lay down a few ground rules because I want to hear from as many of you as possible. That's my favorite part of what we're going to do today is we're going to talk, and I want you guys to share a lot, but I won't be able to hear if everyone's talking at the same time. So if you guys can commit for me that you'll just do a hand raise, you guys want to share something, and that we'll all respect one another when someone's sharing, that the rest of us are listening. Is that cool? Yeah? You guys game for that? Awesome. All right. Oh, we got the first hand raise here.
I also have ADHD.
Dude, I love that. What's your name?
Connor.
Connor? Over there, Connor. Good to meet you, my man. All right. You have a question too? We'll take this last one, then we're going to get going.
I have dyslexia.
You do? Well, thank you for sharing that. What's your name? Ksenia. Beautiful name. Good to meet you, Ksenia. All right, we're going to have more time to share. You guys, this is good. This is going to be a great time, I can tell. So we're going to start out by watching a little video clip here of someone named Howie Mandel. Does that name ring a bell to anybody? Oh, my man. Yep. So he is a famous TV show host, famous and accomplished actor, comedian. Yep, has hosted America's Got Talent. That's correct. And believe it or not, he has some learning and attention challenges that he has struggled with his entire life. We're going to hear a few things he has to say.
Hi, I'm Howie Mandel. I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, I'm a judge, and I got a lot of mental health issues. And if I could speak to my younger self today, I'd say, don't be quiet. Tell people, like, how can you help me? Talk to anybody, a friend, a doctor, a parent. Not everybody's going to understand, not everybody has an answer. But since I spoke out about it, I've gotten a lot of coping skills and I'm doing pretty well. A lot better than I was doing when I was younger. So talk about it. That's what I'd say to myself.
Now, believe it or not, Howie is just one of many celebrities, many of the icons and the people that you respect the most in the world and you hope to become like them someday. A lot of them have learning and attention challenges. And I'm going to show you a few more of who those people are later today, so you can look forward to that. We're going to talk, like Howie said. That's the most healthy thing that we can do is talk about this. So I'll start, okay? I'll share some of my differences, some of the things that make me really unique and unlike the rest of the world. So you already heard that I have ADHD and an auditory processing deficit. Both of those things. Anyone else have ADHD or an auditory processing challenge? Right, got a lot of kindred spirits. And you know what? I grew up right over in Santa Cruz, where you probably go to the beach. Anybody go to the beach in Santa Cruz? Yes, so that's where I grew up, lived there. I also graduated from college. I know, believe it or not, I shocked myself. I got through college, and I got a degree in communication studies. Pretty cool. I also work for Apple. So I've been working for Apple for almost the last 10 years now. I've worked in 5 different Apple stores. I've held a variety of roles. I've been promoted a number of times. And I now am a store manager down at the Monterey location. So if you guys are ever down in Monterey, you should come in and say hi. And I've been blessed to travel the world. So I've gotten to go to over 20 countries. And that was never a life goal when I was in 6th grade or 8th grade. Like, I never thought that would be a part of my story, but it's been incredible as I've gotten to experience different cultures, different people, different ways of living life. And you know, something that also makes me different is I'm a little crazy. I'm kind of weird. I have this draw towards risk. So that's me about 10 years ago or so. I wanted to jump out of a plane with a parachute. There was some confusion last time. Yes, I did have a parachute, and that was the guy who knew what he was doing on my back. Who would love to do that? All right, I got a lot of my people in here. Now, a few hands did not go up. Cindy just raised her hand like, yeah, I'm not one of them. Most people would not do that. That is crazy scary. That's a huge risk. What if your parachute doesn't work? Like, all kinds of things can happen. Yeah, you got backups, but that makes me really unique and different. That was so fun. Now, I'd love to tell you that everything's just been fun and awesome, and I've just followed that risk tendency of mine, and everything's been great, but it's been really hard. It's been a nightmare at times, actually. Beginning in second grade, I was really confused because I would be in class, second grade, and I didn't understand why every time I raised my hand to ask a question, everyone else would laugh at me. I was just trying to pay attention, and this was happening over and over. Ask a question, people laugh. Finally found out it's because of my auditory processing deficit. I don't take in all the information that I'm hearing. Sometimes I can be focused and be the best listener in a room, and certain things just don't compute, like I miss them entirely. Well, once we found this out, we also found out that I have ADHD. That was the year I was diagnosed with that. So school became horrible for me a lot of the time. It was the opposite of fun. The best part was the social aspect. I loved my friends. I loved hanging out with them. But the learning part, and guys, I was in a traditional school. I was not in a school equipped and designed to understand me. School didn't get me. And I wish I could tell you things got better, but they didn't. When I was in 7th grade, who's in 7th grade here today? All right. So when I was in 7th grade, I went from 6th grade, I had only ever had one class. 7th grade, I now had like multiple classes. What did that mean? More homework. Homework times 4, times 5. But the problem was, it took me forever to finish homework assignments for some of my classes. Hours I would spend. Well, that wasn't working. I wasn't turning in some assignments for other classes because I didn't have time to finish them. So I was feeling like, why do I have ADHD? This is a curse. This is the worst thing that happened to me. I just want to be normal. I don't want to be different. Why me? And then to top it off, one of my teachers, again, not one of your amazing teachers here, but a teacher who did not understand me, said, hey Ross, she pulled me aside one day after class. I'm not sure what I had done. Probably had taken the class off course somehow. And she said, Ross, you know what? Not all kids go to college. I said, oh. She's like, yeah, you know, not all kids are even meant to go to college, Ross. And that's okay. Well, that was confusing for me because I had my mom and dad at home telling me, hey, you can do it, like you can make it, and you're gonna go to college someday. But then I had teachers at school telling me, hey, it might not work out for you. That's all right. Come up with a new plan. Again, why do I have ADHD? Why am I in school? This place isn't built for me. Like, why am I like this? So I was very different than most. And I want to know, what's something that makes you different from most other people? Anybody want to share? This is where you can raise your hand and you guys can share. What's something that makes you different than most other people? Right here. If you wouldn't mind saying your name and then what you'd like to share.
My name is Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
And I follow my own rules.
You follow your own rules. I love that. I love that. I was just sharing that with someone the other day. They were trying to understand ADHD, and I was just telling them that growing up, it was so hard because in school, it's like, we do it this way, and this is how we do it all the time. But with my brain, I always think of other ways to do things. And sometimes those ways are better, but they're not always looked at as better. So I resonate. Yeah, right here.
I'm very anxious.
Very anxious. Yeah,
I've
that's
experienced
hard.
anxiety.
Yeah, that's challenging. Thank you for sharing. That's different. Right behind you.
I'm Jade.
Jade. Hi,
I
Jade.
would rather be super duper nice to people, even if I don't personally like them, than be really, really mean to them.
Yeah. Sounds like you're really compassionate. Sounds like you're just really kind. That is different, right? In our world? Yeah. Thank you. In the way back there. Hi, Charlotte.
That I'm really flexible, both mentally and physically. So.
Awesome. Really flexible. That is different, because I'm not flexible at all.
Hi, I'm Lucas.
Hey, Lucas. Hey, Lucas, can I tell you something? You're right here.
Hi, I'm Lucas. And
Hey, Lucas. Hey, Lucas, can I tell you something? Yesterday, my wife, she started laughing, and she said, "You're so weird." And that's an endearing thing. I don't take offense at all. But you know why she said it? Because she got home from work on her lunch break, and I was at home preparing for today. And I randomly stood up from the chair at the table and went, "Woo!" Just like that. And she was like, "Hello, you are so weird." I'm like, "I know." So, hey, it's different, and it's okay. Maybe a couple more? Yeah, right here.
I am Russian.
Wow, that is very different.
Small for my age.
That's very different. Do you know I was still growing when I was in college? That is very different, not normal. I was small. I was tiny. And that, as a boy, you don't want to be small. You want to be big, you want to be strong, you want to be tall. So that's different, right? That can be hard. Yeah.
I'm Daniel. I was adopted, and I finished, and I have serious depression.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel. You were adopted. That sounds, people were clapping and celebrating. That sounds like a great thing. It's awesome. Congrats. And, yeah, here's what I want you guys to consider. All those differences that you just shared, right? Yeah, they're differences. That's what they are. Now, differences can be hard sometimes, and it took me a long time to start to see my own differences as a good thing. But you know what? Only in the last couple years, you guys, have I started thinking this and believing it. That if I look at my ADHD as a gift, a positive, and a bonus, and if you look at your differences that way too, things can change for the better. Your whole life can improve and be better. I'm telling you this from experience, because only in the last couple years have I unlocked this secret. Now, how do we do that, right? Because it's hard. Who wants to hide things like me? When I was growing up, I didn't want anyone to know about my ADHD. I didn't want people to know I had an auditory processing challenge, right? Because all these things that other people can do so easily are really hard for us. And so it's embarrassing. You feel all this shame, and you feel like it's a curse. So why would you want to share with everyone why you're cursed, right? That's what I thought in my mind. Now, as I got older, I hate to tell you guys, but life continues to be hard for everyone out there, but especially for those of us with differences with learning and attention. So these are things that, can anyone relate to any of these things? How about forgetting and losing things? Right? All the time. It's terrible. I've learned I write everything down. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. That is a mantra I live by today. If it's not written down, it does not exist, because I won't remember. I get distracted easily. How about when you're in an important conversation? Let's say your teacher's talking to you, or your parent, and you need to listen, but your mind starts wandering off.
It's like squirrel.
Right? It happens to me all the time. It still happens to this day. But I've learned ways to cope, right? Or how about the fact that sometimes we let other people down? Has anyone let someone down before? Like your friend, you let your friend down, they're upset with you, or you let your teacher down? And then think about it. How often do you let yourself down? A lot. A lot. These things I still struggle with, you guys, but again, it's a journey of figuring out how to thrive with your differences, which we're going to talk about more. So when we look at those challenges, some of those I just listed, what's most challenging for you? What in your life right now often leaves you feeling really discouraged? Like, man, I can't do it. I tried, and then that thing happens. What is it? Right here.
My depression and my anxiety.
Depression and anxiety, yeah, that's hard. Thank you for sharing. What was your name?
Lauren,
Lauren? Thank you for sharing, Lauren.
I have to talk to my sister, and sometimes she makes me feel really down about myself, and it's kind of annoying when even when I'm trying to be nice to her, she doesn't want to hear about my feelings.
That's hard. Yeah. I have 2 brothers. Yeah, it's hard when your siblings don't understand. I had one brother who was normal, whatever normal means, and I had one brother who had Asperger's. So I got both, the one that understood and the one that did not. Am I Jorge?
Siblings,
Yeah.
and they don't just listen to me.
That's really hard. Thanks for sharing, Jorge. Yeah, siblings don't listen sometimes, right?
That's when you push back against something.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, you push back against something. The world is saying you can't do it, you can't do it, like college was saying to me, and I pushed back against it and said, no, I can't. I'm going to do this. Absolutely. So, does someone else want to share maybe a little more on why resilience is a good thing? Yeah.
It's the ability to bounce back, and if you can bounce back, right, something.
Well, there you go.
I love that. Yeah. We bounce back, you guys. And why? Because your entire life is challenging. The world seems stacked against you. Everything seems like it's not in your favor. So when you actually bounce back and you push ahead one step at a time, you build resilience. And it is an X factor for all of us with a learning or attention difference of any kind. Because later on, life just gets hard. And later on, you guys are going to know how to overcome. It's huge. So the truth is, your difference, whatever it is, it's not a disability, it's not a disorder, and it's not a disease. How often have you heard those words describe you? Or you feel like something's wrong with me. I have a disorder, right? You don't. You don't. You have a difference. This is only something recently that I actually am understanding, and I'm going to share more with you why. So I want you guys to get these thoughts in your head here, and when I point at the underlined word, you want to say it out loud with me, okay? So these are the things we need to start thinking, not I'm cursed, I have a disorder, like I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. You need to think this. My difference is not a disability, it's a positive. My difference is not a disorder, it's a gift. And my difference is not a disease, it's a bonus. Has anyone ever shared something like that with you before? Yeah, no. But how much do you believe it? Right? My parents believed this, but did I believe it?
No.
Yeah, it's important. So, but think about it. The things that make you different, right? Whatever it is, you know what makes me different? I'm spontaneous. Things come out flying out of my mouth that I don't know where they came from. And you know what? As I've learned to harness that, I have this wacky sense of humor. I make people laugh all the time. And it's really fun when you can make someone else laugh, right? That's a gift because of my ADHD. That's me. Being silly, being weird, just having fun. It's something that I relish in now. And that's my best friend right there. Apple. Who has a love for Apple products? Who has an iPhone? Or who has used an iPad before? And you love it. Even if you don't love it, don't tell me because it'll hurt my feelings. But think about it, okay? Apple, where was Apple 10 years ago? Did you guys know that 10 years ago, an iPad didn't exist? At Apple. Apple existed, no iPad, no Apple Watch. Those products didn't exist. I worked there, though, starting about 9 years ago. Does anybody know how difficult it was to get a job at Apple when I got hired 9 years ago? Guess the percentage from 0 to 100, like you have a 90% chance of getting into Apple or you have a 15% chance. 90% chance? What about here? What do you think?
1.
1% chance? What do you think? 1?
13.
13? 25? 20? 50? Guess what? 2% chance. 9 years ago, you had a 2% chance of getting a job anywhere at Apple, even a part-time specialist in an Apple store like me. Now, here's the zinger. Stanford University. Everyone familiar? Right down the road, one of the best colleges in the country, right? What about Harvard? You guys familiar with Harvard?
Yes, my dad went there.
Your dad went there. Man, it's awesome. So Harvard's on the East Coast, right? 9 years ago, you had a better chance of getting into Harvard than you did of getting a job at Apple. And I got a job at Apple. Who messed up there? Like, how did that happen? But guess what? It's my ADHD. That's what I've learned has been the edge. That's why I thrive at Apple. I've gotten promoted a number of times because of my ADHD. It's the right context and right environment for me, you guys. It's filled with chaos and risk and people more upset than you would believe because their iPhone's broken. And I get to go talk to them, and I love talking to those people. Who likes that? And all the noise and just commotion and things change every day. There's almost no repetition at an Apple store. I thrive in that environment. Who would have known? So what is something that you love to do? I've learned that I love working at an Apple store. But what's something that you love doing? Yeah, right here.
I like Lego and I like to build stuff.
Like Legos and building stuff. I always let my brother build the stuff and then we'd play, but I could never build the stuff. He could always build it. That's awesome. Yeah, what you do, you love to do
I
that.
love to draw and animate.
Draw and animate. Awesome. What about right here?
Fortnite and Roblox.
Fortnite and Roblox. Man, Fortnite is something a lot of people love to do right now. I'm telling you what. A lot of my friends love Fortnite as well. Yeah.
I like soccer a lot.
I was a soccer player too, man. Okay, right there on the end.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. I got a coworker, plays Magic every lunch break at Apple. Yep. Right here.
I love to sing.
Love to sing. Oh my goodness. I wish I could hear right now. Someone we haven't heard from maybe yet. Right here.
I'm really passionate about surfing.
Man, you need to come hang out over in Santa Cruz more.
Yeah, I go there like every day.
It's awesome. Thanks for sharing. We'll take two more right here.
Okay, I like swimming.
Awesome. Awesome. I like swimming too. I was a lifeguard actually at one time. Very cool, man. And then I haven't heard from you yet. Yeah.
I like playing Fortnite with my brother.
Playing Fortnite with your brother. Awesome. So think about those things you love to do, you guys. And think about this for a moment. Why do you love doing those things? Is it because you're good at it? I'll tell you what. I like singing. Other people don't love me singing. Okay, I like singing. But I would venture to say that you love some of those things because you're moderately good at them, right? How can you love something if you're just terrible at it? Like math, right? I never loved math because math and I just didn't get along, right? But public speaking, I loved that course in high school and college, right? So this is so important, you guys. Thinking about those things that you love and thinking about the challenges. Those things that you view as weaknesses, like for me, growing up, it was my energy. My energy, nobody like told me my energy was a good thing. They'd be like, gosh, like you're like too much. Like just calm down, just sit down and pay attention. I don't need you getting the class off on some other track. You're a class clown. I never thought my energy was a good thing, but in fact, my energy is now the thing that makes me stand out the most. It's the edge that I have now in the workplace, is my energy. Something that was never celebrated, and I always viewed it as a weakness. Who likes superheroes? Come on, I know everybody does, okay? Some of you guys are like, oh, I don't know. Even if you don't really like read comics, we all love superhero movies, okay? The best ones are awesome. Did you guys know? Did you guys know superhero movies are the most popular movies in the whole world? They are. They bring in more money than any other movie. So, which superhero is your favorite? What do you think are your superheroes? Okay, right here. Thanos' car.
Yes, Thanos.
Right here.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, right there.
Thor.
Thor. Yes, right here. Wonder Woman. Deadpool. Right here.
I really like the raccoon in the tree. Those ones are the most idiotic, so those are my favorite, personally.
Awesome, awesome. And right here?
Groot.
Groot. Oh man, I love Groot.
Yeah, Groot is awesome. Groot for the win.
Okay, we're gonna take one more right here. Venom. That one just came out. I want to see that one. Now think about this for a moment, you guys. Why do you love those superheroes? Think about it. You love them because they have these really unique abilities, like Spider-Man. He can shoot webs. Don't worry, you'll have more chances to share. Spider-Man shoots webs, right? Batman has a Batmobile. Deadpool is like the funniest person ever. And he saves the world, right? Now, think about this. Those superheroes, how did their lives start out? Did they just start out saving humanity and all the world celebrating them and saying, oh yeah, thank you so much, Spider-Man? Is that how their life started out? No. How did their life start out? So think about your favorite superhero, right? Their life started out, they're like, what are these abilities I have? How do I use them? And they would unintentionally maybe burn down a building, or they would unintentionally cause this destruction and mayhem. And they didn't know how to actually harness these special abilities. Do you guys know what I'm getting at here? What about your own abilities? Those things you love to do. What if you guys have gifts that the rest of the world doesn't have, but they don't understand you? It's our job to harness those things and learn how to add value to the world with them. Now, someone last time said, but they're not real. Superheroes are real. Now, maybe not these ones. What about these ones? So, now, listen, this is the world's heroes. These people are individuals who we want to be like. We're like, man, Will Smith, if I could only be an actor like him, or Justin Timberlake, if I could only be a pop star like him, then my life would be amazing. We want to be like them, some of the most accomplished people in the world. Who's this guy? What has Michael Phelps accomplished? Yeah. The greatest Olympian ever. And guess what? He has ADHD. In fact, he's had it his whole life, and ADHD made school horrible for him. He had teachers and people tell him, you're never going to amount to anything. He's the greatest Olympian to ever live. This is significant. When I learned these things, and there's just a few, you guys, every single one of these celebrities has a learning and attention difference of some kind. Now, belief. I'm going to tell you right now, belief is one of the most important things you guys can source for yourself, and also find in yourself to believe in you. So think about it. Would any of those famous people have gotten to where they were if no one believed in them? I'd venture to say probably not. Someone has to believe in you. Someone had to believe in me in order to get to where I was at Apple. Who believes in you?
God.
Anyone want to share? God? Perfectly acceptable answer. All right, right here?
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad. Thank you for sharing. My mom was my biggest cheerleader. Right here. You've been itching.
Yeah, well, my parents, my friend Aiden, my friend Logan, and my friend Nick, who is in the office, I think, or he went home.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Hang on. Oh,
Oh, and my math teacher.
awesome. Thank you for sharing. Right here.
Like a lot of my teachers.
Your teachers.
And my friends and family back in New York.
That's amazing. Right here.
One of my friends, his name was Toby, he was somewhere else. And this one, I think.
Awesome.
This one. I'm not sure. I don't know.
So I'm going to tell you guys that a few years ago at Apple, I almost lost my job at Apple. And you know why? It was because I had surrounded myself with people that didn't believe in me. And I almost lost my job because of it, because I didn't have people that believed in me. And you know what the other one was? I had been ignoring my ADHD. When I graduated college, I never wanted to believe I had ADHD again and tried to live my life pretending it didn't exist. And then work got really hard. So I had to do two things. I had to find people that believed in me, and then number two, I had to actually learn how to harness my differences. So important. So we got these powers, right? We got these unique abilities. Well, which ones do I have? Which ones do you have? I have the power of laser hyperfocus, and I know many of you do as well, especially if you have an ADHD mind. You know, it's that ability where you find something you love to do and you're passionate about, and you can focus on it for hours on end. And when mom or dad are like, hey, it's time to eat, you don't need to eat, because you just want to do that thing. It's time to go to bed, you don't need to go to bed, because you can just do that for longer than most other people could stand it. But what does that do for you? It allows you to accomplish more than most other people. Now there's a downside, there always is with powers. You can focus on the wrong things sometimes. And if you focus on the wrong things and you have nobody there to help assist you, you can get kind of lost and lose sight of the other important things you need to be doing. Creativity. I never thought I was creative because I don't like drawing. I don't like painting. But you know what I do like doing? I love to dance. I love dancing. That requires creativity. And I love coming up with new ideas on how to do things differently at work. Who would like to go to college someday? Show of hands. So when you get to college, I'm going to tell you what, two things are going to happen. All of a sudden, anybody that believed in you is gone because you're in a new place. You're in a new place. You got to find new believers in you. And then number two, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to be one of the most challenging things that you've ever done. So what did I do? I deployed my creativity. Professors in college will sit in their office and they have office hours. Well, nobody goes and hangs out with the professors. That's not the cool thing to do. That's not what I wanted to do, but I decided I needed to build a relationship with my teachers. And when I was in college, you guys, this is what saved me. If I didn't have that relationship with my teachers, I don't know what would have happened. Because there were moments where I was not going to pass a class. And I would go to that professor and they knew how hard I was trying because we had built a relationship. They had grown to understand my difference and they wanted to help any way they could. Changed everything. I already mentioned this one, endless energy. It's the one that is the envy of the world. Someone told me the other day, yeah, we're all jealous, right? How many of your parents drink coffee? Every day, right? It's like our lifeblood. Guess what? I never drink coffee, ever. This is all natural. Crazy, like it's not normal, but it's one of the best things I have going for me. So I really believe, you guys, the ADHD, it's a superpower, and your difference can be a superpower too. So what are some unique differences? I mean, what are some of our unique differences that maybe, if we look hard enough, there's actually some special abilities and powers that exist there. So look at this list here. Any of these resonate with any of you? Look at this list. Has anyone ever told you, man, like, I appreciate your honesty. Like, you're so nice and kind. Or in other words, you're really compassionate. Or, man, like, you're so resilient. Like, you're brilliant. You're a good problem solver. Has anyone ever had one of these shared with them? And maybe at the time you guys shrugged it off because you've told yourself, no, I'm not smart. I'm not special. There's something wrong with me. But maybe you need to reconsider that these are your greatest gifts. Maybe a couple hands want to share a couple that stand out to them. Right here.
Endless energy, because my parents every morning, they're like, how are you so filled with energy? You just woke up. I'm like, yeah, for me, I'm just thinking that.
I love that. Right here.
Laser hyperfocus, abundant creativity, endless energy, adventurer, honest, passionate, spontaneous, hyper awareness, resilient, risk taker.
Can I tell you something? I had someone just a few days ago who read this list and they said, my son possesses all of those. So even though you're reading that whole list, and some people might think, oh, come on, it's possible. You may possess every single one of those. Yeah, right? Endless energy. Yeah.
And laser hyperfocus.
Now, laser hyperfocus, maybe a couple from the back here? Right, let's see, who we haven't heard from? Or I haven't heard from much from you, right? Well, no, I know. I want to hear more from you.
Who's there? Brilliant, risk taker, problem solver, and sense of humor.
Awesome. And you know, someone said in the previous talk I was giving, they said, you know, I don't want to seem self-absorbed talking about these things. Guess what? When you guys get out there after college and you guys are out there getting a job, that's the most important thing you have to do. Is you got to tell the world what it is you're best at. What makes you most different? Why should they hire you? It's the most important thing. So who's this? I have no idea, but I loved his face. This is how you're all feeling right now. I know it. Now that we're wrapping up, these are the 5 things I want you to remember. Number 1, your difference can be a superpower. But it starts with you believing that. You guys, if you don't believe it, it's not going to help you very much. My parents believed it, but did I believe it? No. So start trying to believe this. Start learning more and seeing it differently. It can be a positive, a gift, and a bonus. Number 3, you're not alone. Not just the fake superheroes, the make-believe ones that we go watch movies of, but some of the most amazing, talented people on the planet that everyone admires are just like each one of you. That should be encouraging. Number 4, work hard. Remain your own biggest fan. And find the people around you who celebrate you, who want to cheer you on, who remind you of why you're amazing and why you have something to offer the world, because you do. And the last one, we all think differently. This whole room, this is the most dynamic group of people right here, besides the fact that we share some really unique similarities, but it's valuable. And I'm going to tell you guys that when you get out there and you're getting a job someday and you're an adult, the world wants your difference. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for normal. They're not. They want the people that stand out. Your difference is a gift, you guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Does anyone have any questions for Ross that you'd like to ask?
I love questions. Yeah.
I love architecture, and that's my gift.
Awesome.
From dyslexia.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I like to climb insanely high rocks that I know if I fell, I'd at least break a few limbs. But I do it, and I'm like, too easy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm pretty good at this. I love that, you guys. Any questions from anything that we covered?
Like, if you were superheroes, like, what would be some signs that you are? Like, what would
Yeah.
you, if you thought you were a superhero, what was the first thing that made you think, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm this?
So when I started working at Apple, I had never worked a retail job in my life. I'd never done any kind of work like that. And within the first month I was there, everybody was saying to me, oh my gosh, how are you so good at this? How are you the way you talk to people, and like, how did you do that? That's where I started to realize, whoa, I've never been this good. I was never that good at soccer or any of these other things. But when I fell into Apple, I realized that that was an environment where my unique abilities could really thrive and stand out. But it takes trying things. So keep trying things, you guys. Keep discovering. The more you discover, the more you'll learn what you're great at.
How did you stop feeling like your ADHD was a curse?
So when I almost lost my job at Apple a few years ago, I I made the right decision, and I knew I needed help. And so I decided to find a clinic where I could get the support I needed for my ADHD. And I started learning as much as I could about my unique brain. And I started taking some medication again, which I hadn't taken for a long time. And I started learning ways to control my weaknesses. And that was the first person who ever told me, I had an ADHD coach, first person to ever tell me, you have a superpower. First one. I said, what are you talking about? And that's when I started my journey of viewing it differently. No one had ever said that to me my entire life. So that was it. Yeah. I got help, and I got help from someone who believed in me.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you.